service. On behalf of the JFS Board of Directors, I am excited to welcome everyone to our 10th Woman-to-Woman Luncheon. First, a reminder that raffle ticket sales close at 12:15. Information can be found in your program book on pages 9 and 10. The winners will be announced at the end of our program. At this time, please silence your cell phones and note that video recording during the entertainment portion of today's event is prohibited. Let's start things off with a door prize. Everyone received a program book upon check-in. If you will all turn to the table of contents page in your program, one person will find a blue sticker in the top right corner of that page. Congratulations to our lucky winner, who has won an FB Society Ultimate Experience Package from Front Burner, valued at $500, which includes gift cards to all 7 of their signature restaurants. Please collect your prize at the checkout table in the foyer after the program ends. Yay! Congratulations. It's hard to believe it has been more than 4 years since we were all together in a ballroom celebrating the power, influence, and impact of women, and most importantly, what this event has done to advance the work of JFS. I am honored to serve as the board chair as we celebrate all that this luncheon has accomplished. I want to begin with a few key thank yous. Please hold your applause until the end. Thank you to the Jewish Federation of Greater Dallas, United Way of Metropolitan Dallas, and many family and community foundations for their steadfast support of the agency. Thank you also to both our individual donors and corporate sponsors. We extend thanks to all of you here today, more than 1,000, for continuing to make this a highly anticipated event on the Dallas community's philanthropic calendar. I am delighted that my parents and my brother are participating virtually, and my husband, Jay, is here today. I thank them all for their unconditional support of my work on behalf of JFS. Thank you to our amazing board of directors who continue to show up virtually and in person during the pandemic to further the agency's strategic goals and objectives to sustain and grow JFS. Thank you to the numerous volunteers who are helping run this event today, as well as the event committee and the honorary chairs here throughout the room for their behind-the-scenes work leading up to our event. But the biggest thank you goes to our beloved JFS staff for their dedication to the work they do each day at JFS. When Ethel Zale, one of the agency's dearest friends, first developed this event 20 years ago, who could have imagined that this is what it would become? I hope you are all proud to be a part of it. Thank you, Ethel, for your vision. I'd now like to invite Rabbi Shira Wallach from Congregation Shereth Israel to offer our invocation.
Before I begin my teaching that I prepared for today, I invite all of us to take a moment to hold the bereaved families of Uvalde, Texas in our hearts. It is impossible to contend with this unfathomable loss. The death toll has risen as of this morning to 19 students and 2 teachers, brutally murdered as they engaged in the sacred tasks of learning and teaching. On Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement, we read a passage from Isaiah chapter 58 in which God challenges our offerings of sacrifices and fasts. These offerings are unacceptable, even destructive, God shouts, because they are empty gestures. The same people who offer prayers and worship go back out into the world and continue to engage in behaviors that are harmful to the collective Jewish soul. But God explains to us how our prayers may be accepted. Unlock fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of the yoke to let the oppressed go free. It is to share your bread with the hungry, to take the suffering poor into your home. When you see the naked, clothe them, and do not ignore your flesh. My friends, let us not ignore the cries of mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, teachers and first responders. Let us not ignore the call to protect our children. There is so much power in this room because we are united in the strength of our love and our service. Let us mourn, let us comfort, let us use the power of our voices and our love. Let this be a day of atonement in which we come before God, ready to match our pious offerings with meaningful actions. We offer a moment of silence. In the Torah, the earliest and most sacred record of our nascent people's history and laws, the darkest part of our story is the time we spent in Egypt under the cruel and oppressive rule of Pharaoh. He enslaved our people and ordered work so demeaning and futile that it was meant to crush our souls. The miraculous liberation from slavery with the signs and the wonders and the splitting of the sea and the departure on eagle's wings, this is the lens through which we Jews view our entire existence and relationship with God. That God saw our struggle and desired to free us from it, that God yearned for holy relationship with us and pulled off one grand gesture after another to bring us out of Egypt to the promised land. But the book of Exodus begins not with godly grand gestures. It begins with the story of women who believed in the possibility of a better future. It begins with Moses' mother, Tzipporah, who, despite Pharaoh's brutal edict that all infant boys should be hurled into the Nile, brings a child into the world and hides him, sending him in a basket on that same river, with the hope that he would one day deliver her and her people. It begins with his big sister, Miriam, who watches over him as he takes this perilous journey. It begins with midwives, Shifra and Puah, who protect Israelite infants from the wrath of the Egyptians. Without the daring and dangerous acts of these women, we might still be in Egypt. The Talmud, a collection of rabbinic commentaries, suggests, in fact, that the only reason our ancestors merited redemption from Egypt was the righteous acts of women. And a later commentary, the Yalkut Shimoni, adds, in every generation, the only reason any of us will merit redemption will be because of the righteous acts of women. What makes women's acts so righteous that they lift up entire generations? Our faith, our ability to see beyond today into the infinite possibilities of tomorrow. After the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, finally safe from Egyptian oppression, they began to sing. Sounds of their delicious freedom echoed on the waves and in the sandy dunes. But the women, even before witnessing God's grand gestures that ultimately saved us, the women knew to pack their timbrels. And when it was their turn to sing, their voices rose up to heaven on chariots made of triumphant percussive rhythms. May our faith always guide us in our endeavor to redeem our generation, and no matter how despondent we grow, may we always pack our timbrels. Thank you. And now, in honor of our exodus from Egypt, we're going to take our matzah-like bread and we'll offer the motzi, the blessing over the meal. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. V'te'avon.
While you enjoy your lunch, please turn your attention to the video screens. Please welcome our founding chair, Ethel Zell, and sustaining chair, Linda Garner.
There it is.
Where's my card? Here.
Hi, I'm Linda Garner, woman to woman sustaining chair. And I am Ethel Zale, the founding chair. I'm so happy to be back at a woman-to-woman luncheon, and especially on our 10th anniversary. Can you believe how much has changed since we started this event in 2004?
I can. It's amazing how this event has grown and how the agency has grown as well.
That was the goal from the start. I knew that if we gathered a group of women together to learn more about the vital services offered to our community by Jewish Family Service, those women would inspire other women to do great things together, and the essential services of Jewish Family Service would become known.
I honestly get a little emotional thinking about all of the time that we have spent together working on this event. So many meetings, late nights, long seating sessions.
And every moment was worth it. It was.
Mm-hmm. It really was, and somehow, I don't know how, we convinced 34 other amazing women over the years to join us on this philanthropic endeavor. Each group of co-chairs worked tirelessly, and I mean tirelessly, with us on this event, building it to this purposeful luncheon that it is today.
We would like all of the past woman-to-woman co-chairs in attendance today to stand up and be recognized. It has been a tremendous honor. It has been a tremendous honor to work alongside of these women over the last 20 years. It is these women who took a little idea and made it into what it is today. Our hearts are full looking at each of you, and I hope you feel the same as you look around the room today and be proud as we are. You are such a big part of this event's legacy. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
We have all invited our friends and family here to support JFS because we know that this agency continues to receive more and more calls each day like never before. Please turn your attention back to the screens.
Thank you.
Hello, you have reached the Jewish Family Service intake voicemail. We are currently experiencing high call volumes which may delay our...
I never thought I'd say this, but I can't afford diapers for my baby.
Right now I'm having problems with him meeting social skills and coping skills, and he's 13, plus he's got Asperger's, and he's type 1 diabetic.
Vietnam combat veteran, somewhat embarrassed, a little ashamed that my pension just doesn't seem to stretch.
We don't have enough food to last us through the week.
Medical appointments are pretty far, and I need to have somebody wait for the return trip.
Being able to work at a job for enough hours to pay my rent and stuff, so I'm basically trying to get to a functionable place.
On the verge of malnutrition, 88 pounds.
I was laid off from my job and heard about Jewish Family Services helping me in counseling and also giving the good words to me.
I can't keep up with my spending. I think I need help with budgeting.
I'm afraid my husband's going to hit me again.
I need to come in as soon as possible.
Serious situation. Very difficult to me to come back in my feet again.
I don't know how to do any of this.
We need to speak with a grief counselor.
I've called everywhere. No one is helping me. I have nowhere else to turn.
she's sick and I'm doing this all alone. I need some support. Can JFS help?
Wow. Listening to those calls brings up a lot. How powerful was that? Those phone calls are just a glimpse of what we hear every day. I'm Carrie Nottingham, the Director of Client Navigation and a licensed professional counselor at Jewish Family Service. I've been at the agency for over 4 years and actually began my clinical internship at JFS answering intake calls similar to those we just heard. Now, I oversee a team of 2 who answer up to 800 calls like these every month. So much has changed over these years, including living through a global pandemic. But one thing remains true. When clients call JFS, they need help and they need it now. Help that is responsive, compassionate, professional, confidential. Now, when Kathy and her team asked me if I would join you all today, I wonder how I'd be able to convey just how incredibly sad some days are and how exceedingly rewarding others are. Just how difficult it has been to be inundated with voicemails of people like you or me asking for help for the very first time in their life, or how, no matter how quickly we call them back, there are hundreds more we still need to call, and the list keeps growing. Despite our best efforts, all the compassion and kindness doesn't make up for the fact that we simply need more hands on deck to respond to this growing need. JFS is truly that open door from the very first call to their journey back to self-sufficiency. As the intake team grows, I'm honored to be on the front lines as we build a stronger, healthier, more resilient community. Thank you for your incredible generosity, commitment, and continued support.
Thank you for sharing your experience with all of us, Carrie. I'm sure that no one could truly understand how difficult this job must be. So I have to first start off with, please join me in a round of applause to thank the intake team for all that they've done for those in need. Good afternoon, I'm Kathy Barker. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Jewish Family Service. And I wanted to start by saying how wonderful it is to be together in person. With your help, we have been able to grow our vast array of professional, effective, and affordable mental health and social services, and in turn, have gone from serving 7,400 individuals in 2004, when this event first started, to more than 39,000 individuals last year alone. Whether you're old friends of the agency or you've recently just been put on our radar, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a few moments to share how our clients navigate access to our wide range of services. You see, all clients start at one place, calling our intake line and leaving messages just like the ones you heard. A professional member of our intake team talks through their personal circumstances and begins to gather information on how we can be of help. Each case goes through a triage process where they're connected to any number of services that they may need. Career and financial services, food pantry, emergency assistance, older adult services, plan and planned clubhouse for individuals with mental illness, family violence intervention, clinical services including psychiatry, individual, marital, family counseling, school counseling, intervention services, play therapy, cancer support, and many other support groups. We have speech special needs services, speech language pathology, and if we don't have a particular service available to them under our roof, we connect them to any number of our partner agencies to provide the support they may need. Now, if you're like me and you're a visual person, it's very easy to see that our intake team is at the heart of everything that we do. They're the first voice clients here when they've mustered up the courage to ask for help, when they're under immense stress, and when often they feel there's nowhere else to turn. The last voice you heard on that video is that of a man named Howard. He just called on May 2nd. His wife Janice was diagnosed with ovarian cancer 6 months ago, and the chemotherapy is making her sick and compromising her immune system. As a result, they're very isolated. She's frail and needs a lot of support. Howard is her only caregiver, as their adult sons live out of state with their own family and responsibilities. He called us at one of his lowest points, and that's what you just heard. When our intake team was able to call him back, they learned that this experience is taking a significant toll on his mental health as he struggled to navigate the complicated medical system and seeing their savings account dwindle, all while watching his very best friend in pain. Intake was able to connect him to a caregiver support group, a licensed clinical social worker for counseling, medical transportation support, as well as set up Janice with our BINA Cancer Support Services. All of these are meant to alleviate the mounting stress that this family is experiencing. But what's hard to understand is that Howard was just one of the many voicemail messages awaiting our intake team that one Monday morning. We've seen a 225% increase in calls for help this year, and we need your support to continue to be responsive when it's needed most. Well, we have the answer right in front of us today. And we can do this by pouring more of our resources into supporting the intake team, just as we had heard from Carrie, handling some of the most challenging and delicate phone calls at this agency. As a reminder, funds from this luncheon is our largest source of support for the agency each year. With your help, we can direct money where grant funding falls short to ensure that we remain responsive to community needs by hiring additional professionals and case managers. So since we're finally together in one room today, we're going to be doing a paddle raise to witness this community's generosity in action and in real time. I'd like to invite up our auctioneer, Louis Murad, to the stage. And remember, everyone, the dollars we raise here today will determine how quickly JFS can answer these calls and what we can do together to serve this community when they need us most. Thank you for supporting this extremely important service and event. Let's take it away.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen.